Fish on.
Really nice looking fish.
I love it.
That's a hog.
Woo! Oh yeah, bring him up to me. It's a nice fish.
Nice job. That is a tank.
Nice job, you two.
Lund Boats proudly presents the ultimate fishing experience. This week on Lund's The Ultimate Fishing Experience, we're off to the biggest of the big ponds, Lake Superior. Lake Superior has the largest surface area in the world. With over 31,000 square miles, fish within the lake have lots of room to roam. On top of that, it's cold. Gin-clear waters are less productive compared to the other Great Lakes. More water and less fish per square mile equals a daunting task for anglers to be successful. Finding the fish's preferred water temperature is key for locating them, not only on the surface, but also below. This can change daily, if not hourly. That's why today's modern electronics are crucial to locating these preferred temperatures of both bait fish and game fish alike. Lake Superior's abyss doesn't give up its treasures easily, but with the right tools, success is well within reach.
Well, that's sort of a fitting end to a good day of fishing. Pretty cool. All right, here's the sticks. All right. Mike Hehner here with Trevor Sumption, a good buddy of mine and the owner of Fish Hawk Electronics, and we're up here on Minnesota's north shore of Lake Superior. And we're gonna do a little trout and salmon trolling. It's early September. Gonna be a little bumpy out there today, but we hopefully got an offshore wind and gonna do a little trolling and hopefully a little jigging for lake trout. So I guess it's a good morning. Let's get out and get after it, huh?
Let's do it.
The one thing about fishing for trout and salmon is they move a lot. I mean, like they can be here one day and gone the next. So the temperature of the water is a huge deal because the way the winds are, they can blow the surface water around. And one day, you know, the surface temp is at 60 some degrees, and the next day you get an offshore wind and it blows off and you might have 50-degree water on top. So the fish come and go with the temperatures. So knowing what the temperatures are on the surface and at depth when you're trolling is really important. So we're gonna be running some downriggers, we're gonna be running some planer boards, we're gonna be running some 1-pound balls, and what else, dipsies maybe?
Yeah, maybe. It'll be interesting now with this offshore wind we've got that you'd expect probably by early afternoon we're gonna have some cold water pull back in right to the beach, where it'll be interesting to see if those fish stay put or if they really follow that water. You know, it might only be out 50, 60 feet, but
right.
You know, it can move pretty quick, and you just, you know, if you stay on top of that, you can usually stay on the fish pretty good.
Key to this kind of fishing is being mobile and being aware of your surroundings, so the fish aren't in the same spot every day, even if you caught them the day before. So we're gonna go out and put the stuff down and see what they're telling us.
Landing looks good.
Yeah. All right, so we're set up. We've got 4 lines out, 2 apiece. You can see it's a little bumpy out today. We're fighting some swells, and we got a bit of an offshore wind. We're hoping the offshore wind will keep knocking the waves down. But basically, right now we're fishing between 100 and 125 feet. That's where we had been seeing a lot of the lake trout. The speed over ground on our graph could be saying 2.0, but at the ball it could be 3 or it could be 1.5. So you're thinking you're going the right speed, but you're not down at your downrigger ball, and that's where that little device is so important.
And when you get conditions like this where you're riding some swell and the whole deal, it just becomes that much more important.
Yep.
You know, just to try to control it. And that's where the trolling motor really helps, because with the kicker down and in gear, that's kind of giving us our primary thrust. But with the Altera down, you know, that's where we can really fine tune it, where just a bump or two on the remote gets us, you know, the 0.2 or whatever that we need.
The right speed, yep, exactly. Something on there.
It's because I went to change colors.
Exactly.
Change colors, eat a sandwich, go to the bathroom. Those are your fish catching triggers. Good fish?
You know, it doesn't feel bad. It doesn't feel like a monster, but...
I'm gonna slow it down, or you good?
I think we're good. 98. You're coming at you?
Yep. You can just walk him right back if you want. I kind of like having the tail on here as a leaning post.
That is actually kind of handy, isn't it? Oh, he's doing
fighting.
good. He's doing. Okay, here we go. Bring
Ready?
him right
Go
up.
for it.
All right. First one in the boat. So this guy here, that's a pretty standard Lake Superior Laker, a couple, 3-4 pounder. Actually a decent eating sized fish. I think this first one we're gonna keep and maybe do a little grilling tonight. But you can see on this side, there are still sea lampreys in the lake, and this one looks like he had a visitor for a while and it kind of slid down and he shook it. So yeah, just a good start to the day.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly.
We're just getting up to the good zone now.
Here's one.
Got one? Here, I got this. Got him?
Yep.
Do you want me to get this rod out of the way or let her box?
It's way back there, so
Okay,
it'll be fine. I can
all
work
right.
underneath it.
Switch to your white, eh?
Yeah. Fish,
Get
fish,
up.
fish, fish. You can take that one.
We got a double on there.
We went 0 to hero in a matter of
How are we gonna play? How are we gonna play this one out?
very carefully.
Yeah. You let me know when you're close and I'll
I'm
net
here.
it. Are you?
Yeah. Should we
All
do
right.
the one-handed?
No, I can do it.
Should I do the curly shuffle? Here, I'll jump. I'll tell you what. I'll do this. And
Oh, that's a good one.
yeah, you can grab the fish and I'll grab the other rod.
All right,
Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Here we come.
Got him. Good one, Trevor. Grab that. No, I got this. You want to grab that other board rod?
Yep.
This is a good one.
I think you did that on purpose. I don't think
So that you have
wanted
to reel that one in?
Yeah, exactly.
I am going to keep him in the net for
What was that at?
51.
51, yeah.
I'm going to keep him in the net until you get close here. Is it really?
Yeah, the fish are high.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was thinking your salmon talk.
I was thinking my salmon talk, so I'll take care of him by hand,
Okay,
and then
I'll bring this guy in and get him uncorked. This is a decent fish here.
you get that. I'll switch you.
Doubles.
Ready?
This one could eat that one.
Yeah. Oh, you probably yeah.
That's a quality fish right there. There we go, and that's a good one. I think we'll let
Nice.
this guy go. All right, that was pretty fun. The neat thing about that was, one, we changed color, and two, we changed depth a little bit, right, Trevor?
Yeah. So you could see that temperature coming up. So yesterday, all that temperature was down.
Yep.
The temperature moved close to the surface. So where we were fishing our riggers at 75 and 100 feet, that bite came at 50 feet. So
Right.
just in the matter of a few hours, everything changed. So that's what you got to do. You got to look for those changes.
Yep.
And just because you caught them like that yesterday, don't get stuck in the rut that's how you're going to fish today.
Right.
Kind of pay attention to the conditions. The sky's lightened up, so we put on some brighter, whiter stuff.
Yep.
And got a couple bites.
Yep. So that's what this fish hawk is telling us. It's telling us speed at the ball and temperature at the ball. So there was a period of time where the speed at the surface and the speed at the ball were the same. And then we went a quarter mile and all of a sudden we were noticing the speed at the ball changed dramatically. So we were able to adjust speed on the surface because the spoons were probably spinning too fast.
We're trolling into a current, so just
Yep.
by making those fine tune, those little tweaks, we can keep the baits running the way we want to run it.
Yep. While we're in between fish here, I just wanted to touch on something really quick about the behavior of these fish. They're an interesting fish because they're fast and they're curious and they don't always bite. So it's a little bumpy out here right now for me to run this, but I got a GoPro mounted on a bracket that goes on the downrigger wire. The last couple times I was up here, I mounted it right above my downrigger facing back at my spoon. So I would make a lead on the spoon about 4 feet, so it was within the zone of the GoPro. And after I pulled it up and looked at the footage, it was amazing how many fish actually came up and looked at the bait and didn't hit it. So just something to keep in mind when you're fishing and you're driving through fish on your sonar and you're seeing them and you know your bait's at that level but they're not biting. Maybe it's time to change angles of the way you're trolling based on currents, or even change colors of spoons or styles of spoons, because the fish often are there and looking but they're not biting, and you just need to do something different to trigger them.
There he is.
Got him on the ball? All right. All right. You called it. You knew it was going to work, didn't you? I'm going to turn
Yep.
this down.
outside the fact that there's a 1 pound ball and 249 feet of line out.
It's all yours, bud.
Yeah, thanks.
You're the man for the job. You've been training to go elk hunting, so I know you're in tip-top shape, right?
Well, maybe this is good training.
Yeah, the one thing that was interesting about what Trevor's got on is, so on that rod, we have spoons on everything else, and he has a flasher and a spin and glow on that for something different. So this one was pretty much hugging the bottom, right?
Yep, kind of pounding by old school.
Old school,
what
yeah.
the old timers used to do.
Drop the ball down and let it hit the bottom, and
right.
then tighten it up. So cool. Well, that didn't take long. Got him.
Got him?
Yep.
Watch that weight there.
Yep. All right, ready? I'm going to swing him over to you.
Okay.
This is one I think we're going to tank.
There he is.
All right. Good deal.
Yeah.
So
you want this one in the tank?
I do. Yeah. I want to do a little bit of grilling and chowdering. So this guy will be nice.
There he is. When you're out here trolling, you can really make a case for using different types of line. So over here on my side of the boat, I've got 2 rods set up. I've got the rod on the downrigger, and I've got this 1 pound pump ball down. And on my downrigger rods, I really always prefer monofilament. And mono just gives you that extra stretch where you can really tighten down hard on the release. The mono also sticks really good in the releases, so you don't have the false trips. And it gives you that kind of extra, that shock absorber, so you end up landing a lot more fish with mono. Whereas with the pump rod, you know, we've got 230 feet of line out on that rod, where if we had monofilament on there, we'd never feel anything. So we're using like a 30-pound braid on that, and using that braid with the heavy weight, you know, we're out here in 118 feet of water right now. I can feel and see everything that weight is doing down by the bottom. And it lets me make that contact where I always know that, you know, if I'm fishing something on the bottom, that rod is right where it's supposed to be.
And like Trevor, I have 2 rods over on this side as well. Downrigger rod just like him, typically medium power, moderate action. The other rod I got going is like a 10.5 foot rod, another medium power, moderate action. And on this one, I've got 6 colors of lead core. So that's getting me down 25 to 30 feet out with the board and a spoon on it. And then this is again backed with a braid, like a 20 to 30 pound braid tied to the lead core. So you have a lot of extra line on the end after you get the lead core out. So doing this type of fishing, like I said, can be as simple or as complex as you want it based on what you're fishing for and how much you want to get into it. So
Fish.
Got one?
No.
Nice. Pump rod.
Pump rod.
You got it. I don't have to reel it in. I was busy. 200 feet.
246.
Nice. One thing, the lake trout here in Lake Superior are quite the success story. So, you know, everybody knows the story back in the 50s when they crashed, and from the, you know, combination of overfishing and the sea lampreys getting in here, and it's been a slow recovery back to restocking, getting a population established, and now we're in 2020 and like they don't stock lake trout in here anymore. It's a totally self-sustaining fishery. And I spoke with Corey Goldsworthy, who's the manager here in Minnesota for Lake Superior, and he said the lake is doing very well for lake trout. So I was asking him what's good to keep, what's good to throw back, and he says there's a lot of fish in the lake. You know, if you get those bigger fish, those fish over 30 inches, you probably want to throw them back. They can be old and they're really important spawners. And when you get fish that are over 35, 40 inches, you're talking about fish that are maybe 30 to 40 years old. Some could be even older, but they're really, really old fish. They produce a lot of eggs and they've been around a while. So unless you're going to mount one, there's really no need to keep a big one. But just a really good success story to come out here. I mean, it's a great fishery if you're just starting to do it, or if you've been doing it a long time to catch lake trout. And they're a great fish to catch and to eat. So it's a nice little stout fish.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Now he's deciding he's going to pull.
Yep. Oh yeah,
That's a little
little better fish, you bet. Ready, come in, a little more. Got him. We're in.
Got him.
We're in.
Oh!
Whoops, hey!
That one's gonna make the blooper reel.
Whoops. It's rough getting old.
You okay?
I'm fine. My pride is hurt more than anything.
I mean, the roll was actually impressive.
Yeah, no, I cushioned the blow with
You
my
did.
with my head.
Yeah,
So,
with your head.
all right, here we go. We're swinging now. Ah, look at that fatty. That is a fatty. Okay, I'm gonna sit here in the motor and recover while you. Well, maybe just release this guy, huh?
Okay. Pretty fins on him. He's starting to get color.
So yeah, we'll take it.
There you go.
You go.
Yep. So we've mentioned this pump rig, or what we call a pump rig, a couple times, and what that consists of is it consists of a 1 pound lead ball, and we've got that hooked up to a bead chain swivel with a heavy duty snap. We're running a 30 pound braided main line, and then a 30 pound fluorocarbon leader, and we're running that down to an old school Dodger, and then we're running it with a spin and glow with a single bead. And that Dodger underwater kind of rolls back and forth, kind of a slow action, and that spin and glow tails it, and the trout are really, the combination of that ball bouncing on the bottom and the slow kind of wobble of the flasher and the flash, it really attracts their attention, and it's a really good technique for fish that are really tight to the bottom.
We're all set to go. So Trevor and I today are fishing out of the Lund Impact 1875. And this is not only a great fishing boat, it's a great family boat. So some of the features on it that are really good are actually great for what we're doing here. Rod locker up front and storage up front. So tons of storage up front. The rod locker holds 10 rods up to 8.5 feet. So that's great for these longer trolling rods. There's another rod locker on the side that can handle a few more rods, tackle storage on the side. It has a 96-inch beam, which is really wide, and it's really stable platform to fish out of. We're doing all our work in the back here, so it's really nice to have a big wide berth on this thing to handle these waves. Moving back, there's a nice live well in there. We got a couple lake trout in there. Another cool thing are these 2 bench seats here. This whole platform folds down into a big casting platform, so you can use the seats for hanging out, riding around, and you can flip it down and have a casting platform for muskies or whatever you want. So powered by a 150 Mercury 4-stroke, and we also got a 9.9 kicker motor on there, which we've been using a ton right now for what we're doing as we're trolling with the kicker motor, and we're using the Altera up front to steer us. So
now this system, this X2, is a fairly new system for us, and we designed this specifically for multi-species boats like this Impact 1875. One thing I really like about this particular model is this Sport Track system here. We've got the display mounted to the Sport Track, and not just will pick right off of there. So if I want to pull everything off, the downriggers, the rod holders, the fish hawk, I can pull that off in a second, and I can take the kids tubing tomorrow.
there we go. We just had 2 little pods of fish, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to mark a waypoint. And now we got 2 in a row where we had 2 groups of fish, so we can either make a pass, go back, go through them, or you can just come back and try vertically jigging on top of them. About as fun as it gets catching big lake trout down right under the boat. So basically what we're going to do to set up the jig here is, so I'm going to try to find an area where I see a couple, 3 of them really close to each other, like this coming up right here. So there's a fish there, there's a fish there. So what I'm going to do is with the remote deploy the Altera, and we're going to drop jigs on top of these fish and see if we can get them to chase it. And I'm going to hit the spot lock and work them vertically and see if we can get them to chase it. And it can be a real visual thing where if, like, Trevor's jigging in the back of the boat by the transducer, we're going to see his jig and be able to see if the fish are chasing it or not. So it's kind of a fun way to trout fish. Yeah, basically for jigging, we're using, you know, like various rods, but the jigs we're using, you know, are bigger profile baits. So I'm throwing a a big plastic on an 1.5 ounce head. Trevor's got a hand-tied bucktail jig that's an ounce, and typically like 1/2 ounce, 5/8 ounce are the best jigs, but anything light colored, white, shad colored, but you need enough weight to get down there, and we're just either throwing them out, reeling them in, or just vertically jigging them. And so lake trout aren't very picky, it's just getting the bait down in front of their face. So that's the key to it all. Find them and get it in front of their face, and eventually they'll hit it. Ooh, is that one? Yep. You got one down there by you, Trevor. Just chased you. Now just start jigging it up like really slow. Yep, like that, and then go up. Let's see, is he following?
Got him.
You got him?
Yep.
All right. How's it feel?
Feels really good after.
That's cool. That was so visual. Good fish?
Feels a little different when you don't have a 1 pound weight on it.
Yeah, right. Cool. It's a long way down.
Yeah, he's not really super excited about coming up here. There he is.
Oh yeah.
You want to take him right there?
Sure. Get him, bring him around. Nice one.
Yeah.
Ooh, there we go. Cool.
That's pretty cool.
Good fish. All right, coming in. Nice one. That's a beaut.
On your homemade bucktail.
Homemade bucktail. Your first jigging trout?
My first jig trout, I like it.
Yeah, so cool. Well, that's sort of a fitting into a good day of fishing. We got a handful of trout trolling, and they kind of clammed up, and we were marking fish, trolling through them, and they wouldn't bite, so we just thought we'd go back and throw a few jigs on them, and took about 5 minutes, and Trevor popped this one, so pretty cool. Should probably
take a few more of those.
Yeah, we might have to drop on them a few more times here, huh? Perfect, perfect eating trout, so heck of a deal, heck of a day.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like more information, check out lundboats.com or these other online outlets.